Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll see, but won't we? Like, I mean, it's, I've never done a lot of scrimmaging. We're going to be doing some scrimmaging this year, and at least in Whistler. But I mean, what I like to do is get down to, there's two things: conditioning, and make sure we're as good or better than any team in the league condition wise, and secondly, knowing our systems to a T before the first game of the season. So we work a lot on those things, and pace of play up and down the ice. I mean, the guys nowadays are in great shape when they come, but I mean, there's a big difference between great shape when you're playing in summer hockey and great shape when you're playing in NHL hockey. So I mean, there's always something about pace and making sure you're ready to play in game one, because I'm a big believer that the first 10 games, not every team is ready, and if you're more ready than those guys, you can usually get lucky and get off to a pretty good start.
Will we see a conditioning skate?
Not in the first week because we're at Whistler, but I mean, there's a good chance. I've always had a skate test, and it's usually been on the first day of camp, but we just don't have the facilities at Whistler to do something like that, and it's the 3-hour time frame, which makes it a little more difficult. But I've told our training staff and Marsh that in the second week we'll probably have one, more to keep the data to see where they are, and in the future to be able to compare it with the guys. I mean, so they can find out where they're at. Are they in better shape? Are they or worse shape than they were the year before, type thing.
Hey, Bruce, you and I are around the same vintage, and I remember training camps, NHL training camps from days gone by. You played for the likes of Harry Neal and Punch Imlach and Roger Nielsen and Red Kelly. Is there a training camp from back in the day that really stands out?
Well, Rogers were always way more detailed than anybody else. I mean, he would make you do a test. This is where I got the skate test from in 1987, actually. Roger made us first day of camping, and he'd send out the notice in early July, and we're going to run 5.5 miles, and you had to do it in under 39 minutes, or you had the choice of riding a bike 25 miles, then you had to do it under an hour or something, or an hour and 5 minutes. And so, I mean, I chose the run, so I trained all summer long running. I was running my butt off, and then had a great run there, but I had shin splints, missed the first 3 days of practiced the fourth day and got cut on the fifth. So I said, I'm never doing that again. So, I mean, thought it'd be conducive. I started sitting there and me and my buddy John Anderson were discussing it and saying, why don't we train on the ice? Because that's where we're playing. And so we, ever since then, like at camps, whether it was from Washington on, we would do a skate test, but they would get information in July that this is what the skate test was going to be. And especially in Minnesota, I would go watch a lot of the practices, and you see at the end of every practice that they had, or informal skate that they would have, that they would be doing the down and backs to practice that. And I said, that's what you want them practice. You want them in skating shape. You couldn't care less if they could run, faster than anybody, but the skating shape was really important.
Hey, Bruce, one of the greatest strengths of your hockey club up the middle, Pettersson, Miller, and Horvat. Do you start with those three up the middle, or is there a chance one could move to the wing, or is that just a process that's going to play itself out?
Well, I mean, it's funny you ask. It'll probably just play itself out, but I mean, a lot depends, I think, on how Kuzmenko fits in, how McAuliffe fits in. I mean, right now, I mean, I think at those three as centers, we're as deep at center as any team in the league. Yeah. And so, I mean, you'd love to be able to do that. I mean, last year we weren't as deep and we had a lot of injuries, so that's why I moved Petey on the wing, excuse me, and just tried to load up on the top two lines and hope the last two lines could just check, and which was fairly successful. But if we could do three lines, most good teams now have three lines that can score and three lines that can come at you. So if we could accomplish that, I think we'd be right up there offensively with a lot of teams.
Hey, Bruce, you mentioned Kuzmenko. We don't know what to expect. He's coming from Russia.
Neither do I. So.
Yeah, exactly. Is it going to just have to be a patient test for all of us to wait and see him adjusting to the NHL?
Well, I'm sure there's going to be an adjustment period. He's been here really early, like 10 days to 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, he's getting adjusted with his teammates or the ones that are in town. I've been watching him skate and getting reports every day about him. He's got skill. He's talented. He's got a tremendous personality. I was saying yesterday that if this guy can do good, he's gonna own the town. His personality is, he's smiling all the time. He's laughing. I mean, we just did a thing with kids for him, and for a half an hour, he just stick handled and played with the kids. And if that's the way he is on the ice when he plays, that aggressive, that with that kind of energy, I think he's going to be really good. But I mean, again, it's something we will wait and see. And he will probably play in every preseason game because he just needs the playing in North America thing to get his bearings straight, and it'd be good for him too. So it'll be interesting. But we're hoping if he's the real deal, then we've got quite a bargain there as a top six forward.
Bruce, one more forward, Hoglander. Everyone's got him on the fourth line. This is what happens in Vancouver, Bruce. Everybody's got their lines.
I'm learning quick. I'm learning.
Everyone's got Hoglander on line 4. Your thoughts on this player?
I think it's up to him. He could be a top 9 player. He's got the speed, the ability, and everything else. We're hoping that everybody else that has been added makes it tough on everybody who wants to be in the top 9 and who wants to be in the top 12 even. We're hoping that our forward depth is going to be to the point where the training camp is a real, not just let's come in and get in shape. Let's come in. We're going to have to push for the spot that we want to be pushed to.
Bruce, you mentioned the Vancouver hockey market. It's a hot hockey market. Are you enjoying that? Are you enjoying being recognized, that sort of thing?
Well, the recognition could, settle down a little bit, but I love the hockey market. I love being able to come home and turn TV on every day, and they're talking hockey first. And I was listening to one station this morning, and when they're talking about the Buffalo Bills game tonight, and they're calling the Bills the Sabres, hockey's on your mind. So that's great. I love the fact that especially Canada, Vancouver is a hotbed like all the other towns, that hockey is foremost on their mind, and that's great because I'm all about that, and I think about it all summer long and all winter long. So it's been my life.
Hey, Bruce, we all know what Jim Rutherford had to say about the Canucks just after the season ended. So I asked this question then. Does your hockey philosophy line up with Jim Rutherford and Patrick Elvine?
I don't know. You're talking about that they were complaining about the exits.
The zone exits, yeah.
Zone exits. That doesn't mean that their philosophies are different than mine. We want to play an up tempo, fast-paced game, and and if we can clean up a little bit in our own zone, then that's great. But we also got to understand that we were in the top 5 defensively in the league last year, and so I'll take that over a missed exit all the time.
What was your reaction? I can imagine what it was when you heard that JT Miller's coming back, that he's got himself a contract extension. Can you imagine life without JT Miller?
I guess, I've been around where a lot of things have changed, but I think life is an awful lot easier with JT Miller. When you're putting your lineup together in your head and that, it all summer long, it was with JT in it. So, I mean, it would have been an adjustment if it wasn't in it. Like, I mean, I phoned him right away. And the first thing I asked him was, how's your wife and the baby? And he said, that's not really why you called, is it? I said, yeah, they're more important. But listen, he's a great player. I mean, I think the people of Vancouver and Canuck fans love watching him play. We love having him on our team. So we're glad the commitment was made both ways, us to him and him to us. So that's great.
Hey, Bruce, you've made changes to your team. You've seen teams in your division and the rest of the conference make changes as well. Is your team a playoff team right now in your eyes?
Well, I mean, every team I've ever been on, I always believe in them, and I believe they're a playoff team. I thought they were a playoff team last year. Time will tell. I hope we play as good as we think we are. And, I mean, everybody thinks the Pacific Division is weak. I think it's pretty strong right now, and I think it's getting stronger. So it's going to be an interesting season. I mean, I would venture to guess that when I'm sitting home in the summertime, I'm thinking I'm going to win the Stanley Cup every year, and that's just where my mindset is. So hopefully some of that can take place.
We could go on and on, Bruce, but let us leave you with this. I mentioned we're around the same vintage, and I realized that the Canucks had something special. When just after you were hired in a pregame press conference, you referenced Kreskin. And I just want to thank you for that as somebody who's around your age. I might have been the only one who got it.
Well, I don't know how he did it either, but he was an amazing guy. And I used to watch him on CFTO, Channel 9 in Toronto. But if I could have his mind-reading ability, I would tell you if we're a playoff team, Stanley Cup team, or what we are, and we could make some money together.
Yeah. We'll explain Kreskin to our viewers a little bit later. Hey, Bruce, thanks for this. And so many people in Vancouver are pulling for you. All the best. And again, thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon.